So the first step in learning a song is to listen to it, as I said. And I listen to it probably, if it's a song I've never heard, I'll probably listen to it 3 or 4 times just to get the basic gist of the music and where it's going and what kind of things. The first time I'll just try and focus on the drums and figure out what is exactly going on. Is it what time it's in? What's his kind of tempo? What's he doing? Is he hitting the hi-hat? Is he hitting the ride? Is he playing something crazy? Are there any little parts that I need to remember? Holy shit, I need to focus on that later. And then I'll just listen to it. But I find it really important to learn the other stuff, not the drums, but the other music, because then I can listen to, like I said before, the audio cues that tell me when I have to do something. Because I'm not one to be able to memorize bars and bars and bars by themselves as a part. Let's say the 16 bars of such and such without any other visual or audio cues. And so the first thing I like to do is listen to the music. And in the case of Rush, obviously, as a big Rush fan, I've heard all the songs hundreds and hundreds of times. And although I am really focused on Neil's parts, I do know every lick of synth and bass and guitar and singing. And so I focus on that too, especially when I'm trying to learn one of their songs. Because Neil tends to take a classical approach to his development of a Rush song in his drumming, in that he'll play something, and then the next verse, he'll play the same thing, but with a little bit more. And the third verse, he'll play it again with even more. And so it gets a little bit confusing if you're not if you don't know which verse Geddy's singing when he's playing that beat with the extra hi-hat or the extra ride or the one cymbal there or whatever. It gets a little bit confusing, and so it's very important to know the rest of the song. Again, I'm not one who can just memorize something 4 minutes of 150 bars of drum music. So I like to be immersed in the whole song and understand exactly what's going on with everyone else and try and feed off of that. And I find it makes it a little more, I hate to use the word organic, but that's kind of the way that I'm thinking. So once I'm fully acquainted with the song, what I will do is, again, I will play the song through several times along with it, without trying to be concerned with anything. And then I will make mental notes as I go through the song to know where I really need to concentrate, what problem areas there are going to be. Perhaps I might even need to learn a new independent strategy or a new particular rudiment that I don't know yet that I'm going to have to learn in order to play that song. In the case of Animate, there's really not anything so difficult as so much as remembering where to put everything. And the general beat of the song is, at first glance, a little bit daunting in that there's a lot of stuff going on there that isn't really completely evident. Okay, let's talk about Animate itself. When I'm studying a song so that I will be able to play it very competently, I like to break it into the sections that seem obvious to me, and once I break it down, it might seem obvious to you. So for this song, we've got the first section, which is the driving ride pattern, which I will refer to as the main beat in the future, for the first 57 seconds until it goes into the second part, which is a hi-hat ride, jumping back and forth in phrases until about 136, at which point it goes back to the main beat, the third section, back to the ride for another 32 seconds to 208. Then we go back, we jump from hi-hat ride, another ending. We go back into the ride, driving main beat, the fifth section, again at 246, which brings us to a sort of a retard with the crash cymbals, and it leads into the sixth section, which is the tambourine part. Now, I'll come back to that because I want to focus it on it. Then after the tambourine part is finished at about 417, we've got a very short section, which is the sort of syncopated hi-hat, slower beat, until it leads into the ending at 442 to the end. Now, I'm going to demonstrate each one of these sections briefly, in so much as section 1, 3, and 5, I'm not going to demonstrate all three of them because they're basically the same, other than learning the 10 different endings for each time we come out of the 4-bar phrases. So I will play perhaps 4 to 8 bars of that and break it down so that you can figure out how to play that beat, and I will leave the endings up to you because that's just memory work and trying to cop exactly what he's doing, and that's not really to do with technique as much it is with learning the song itself.